The hope is by going out and working with a CIT team that an individual doesn't end up in the institutions of jail and rather in institutions that make sense for them. Hey, I am Rebecca Markonni. I am the site director currently for the MILO Crisis Care Center that deals with psychiatric crisis. I've worked in crisis for almost 27 years, starting as a firefighter, EMT. Worked myself into positions where I was an intervention clinician on the road and working with police on CIT teams, later becoming an instructor of CIT. I started in the field of social work after I went on a case as a firefighter. There was a young girl who had something horrendous happen to her, and they asked that a female be on scene. I realized that in the current place I was at in my career that I could help her for a moment, but I wanted to help her longer. I knew she was going to need services that I knew weren't out there, especially for kids. CIT is Crisis Intervention Team, and the concept is that a social worker and a police officer will work together with clients in a mental health crisis. Keep them safe and not turning it into a criminal case and rather getting them the help that they need. So a CIT ideal team is an officer and a social worker. The experience and safety concerns and training that an officer gets alongside the training and education that a social worker has. As a social worker, I am required to have continuing education credits, which keeps me up to date on changes in mental health, changes in different therapies and different programs that are out there. And officers have lots of continuing education that they do, but currently there isn't anything for continuing education on CIT, which doesn't allow them the same benefit that I have of being up to date on changes in mental health or changes in policy and process and laws. So if you're not using it every single day, you're not practicing it, therefore not retaining. So ongoing training helps people to be able to continue the thought processes of how CIT works and the conversations in a CIT format, especially with videos like MILO makes. It's a very interactive experience, which allows an officer who maybe isn't experiencing that every day to continue training on it for the time that it does happen. The partnership with MILO and working with police and social workers utilizing these training scenarios are beneficial for multiple reasons, not just for the officers, which MILO has done a lot with officers in the past, but even involving the social workers. When I was going through CIT training, I realized very quickly how differently a social worker and a police officer view scenes. We looked at things differently. But that officer also struggled with the mental health side. So the team working together, I just found that safety was considered as well as the mental health, and these training scenarios are beneficial to both. The social worker needs to see the side and why law enforcement would react the way that they would based on their policies, based on their training. The MILO videos really set the stage for realism. Scenarios that you watch videos on, if I watch an online video, that's not being part of it. The MILO videos really make it interactive so you feel like you're inside of that situation, and so you're able to react and get feedback on how you would best react in that situation using your CIT training. These interactive videos are great to keep people kind of on their toes. The training scenarios that MILO has to offer allows the kind of hands-on training and education pieces, so if maybe something wasn't going right, how you could do it differently. There's no time limit on it, which is something that CIT Core teaches, is that there is no time clock that says that this scenario or this episode or this crisis is going to be finished. The MILO scenarios allow you the opportunity to kind of play within a very safe environment and learn what your responses would get. But you have the opportunity in this very safe environment to make a wrong decision, but go back and fix it, and then practice that fix over and over and over again if needed.